Hello, 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 and welcome to the show. Don't call it a comeback. I am James J. And as always, Mama said knock you out, Kaliko Yachts. And this is,
Just the two of us.
and this is Wrestling with Entertainment. Uh, Mitch is still knocked out from his match against Kaliko 2 weeks ago. Hell, still battling
I,
that
I, I
injury.
put I, I put the hurting on him. You know what I mean? That's how it goes. Now it's just the two of us.
Yeah,
How,
no,
how, how that song with Will Smith go? Just the two of us.
yeah. Last week we had a special guest Scooter Dust from the Dust Busted. Always fun to have him on. And
Yeah, always good to have some better minds, more thought. I'm the
uh,
dual thought mentality.
absolutely. And he even spit some Tupac rhymes. And that I
I
found
know.
entertaining.
I did not see that coming from
Yeah,
a guy named Peter. I did
that
not see that coming.
yeah, you
Tupac.
will even surprised sometimes on some of the crazy things that happen on the podcast.
Yeah, yeah. Even took me back by surprise.
And we are let's get into this week's show. We are wrestling with a moment of James. I'll be reading off some of the news that's been going on in WWE, AEW, etc. Kyle O'Reilly uh apparently got a back injury during that ladder match, but he continued to wrestle. But now they're saying that it's starting to act up.
Uh, kind of. I mean, if anyone saw the match, it was brutal on his back. I kind of I liken it to how like when DIY faced the AOP
Yeah,
and when Gargano tore his ACL and he didn't even know it, but he just finished the match anyway. So it's kind of like a continuation type deal.
yeah.
So you mean they don't know it until all that adrenaline goes down, and then by that time it just intensifies.
Yeah, I think Juice Robinson said like it takes like 48 hours for them to actually realize that they're in pain.
Oh yeah, because that's when all the adrenaline dies down. Their body's not in movement. Probably like laying down, going to sleep is probably when they really see it the worst.
Probably.
So
WWE Stomping Ground is not sold out anywhere near. If you go on Ticketmaster or Access, there is a wealth of seats still remaining. Not a good sign for
um,
WWE.
uh, everybody says that, but I don't see it that way because think about it. The event was originally slated for San Diego. Then they canceled the San Diego, put it in small city in Washington. So it was kind of like a last minute switch up because even me and you were talking like months on end, like, oh my God, they're coming to San Diego finally. That's going to be awesome. And they would have got like the LA part of the LA crowd and a little bit of the TJ crowd, and I probably would have went, but everything kind of got switched last minute with the Saudi Arabia thing. So to me, everyone sees that as a bad look, but you have to look at it in context where they switched a lot of things within like the last 2 months. So tickets went on sale like a month and a half, maybe, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's not as bad as I don't see it as that bad as people make it, considering when you look at the totality.
I guess in some aspects you're right, but in other aspects, if it was a really strong card, I I think it would have sold out a little bit more. But you have basically the same matches from Super Showdown in Washington.
and I think that was I think the Super Showdown is what was the Achilles heel. Because think about it, if you didn't have Super Showdown, those matches would have been fresh for Stomping Grounds or whatever Backlash or whatever pay per view it would have been. But the fact that they had to have that view at that time, they just, it kind of went against them.
True, but in that same regard, Super Showdown is the arena in Jeddah is 60,000 seats, and they only sold 20,000 seats. But with a card with Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler on it in main event matches.
True, but I mean that money was already made by them signing a multi-year deal with the Saudi Arabia to do at least a show a year. So yeah. To me, I see what you're saying, because it doesn't help that, hey, we just saw this match here and a week later we're seeing it there. But think if they didn't have that event at think about it. The only reason they canceled Backlash was because it was a week after Saudi Arabia. So they were just trying to give the people, a little bit of time off to recover from that. Because think about it, they go to Saudi Arabia on Friday, they come back on a Monday, then they had to fight again, do another pay-per-view on Sunday. So they kind of just spread it out a little bit, give them a little rest, get them back acclimated to time zones. So I get it. I mean, I'm not saying that it's a good or bad thing, but I get it.
Personally, I think even if they didn't do Saudi Arabia, I still don't think it would have draw as big as they wanted it to. I still think that it might have still fell under expectations. That might be a different story if it was in San Diego, because Los Angeles, California in general is just a big wrestling
market. Yeah, SoCal is a big wrestling market. Yeah.
But it being in like Washington, I definitely think that it really crushed them a little bit more.
Yeah, and like I said, that Saudi Arabia trip kind of threw the biggest monkey wrench through the whole thing.
Oh no, I think Backlash was the monkey wrench, and the Saudi Arabia show was the be all end all. They were getting more money for that. The schedule comes out usually like in April. So they usually have the schedule. So that schedule was already set. So they had to have saw that coming even when they set the schedule. You know what I'm saying? Because they usually set the pay-per-view schedules before they set the city-to-city schedule. Yeah, that's true. Just another bad WWE decision.
Yeah.
Update on Bray Wyatt. It's rumored that he will be at Raw in Los Angeles this coming week, live in person, which would be the first time in quite a while, actually.
And that's going to be fun. I'll be there. I'm going to both shows. I'm going to the house show here in San Diego, because to me, house shows are better. They get a chance to wrestle. No need of TV breaks or promos. The only promos they need to cut is like a little quick promo, nothing like for TV. So house shows to me are usually the better show. And going to LA is going to be fun because Staples Center, it's LA, it's a hot market. So it's going to be fun. But if Bray is there, that place is going to blow the roof off. Keep in mind, this is the place that booed Ronda Rousey. This is where the whole Becky Lynch thing started with Survivor Series.
Yeah, LA crowd is very opinionated. Let's say that.
Yeah, I mean, they to me, LA they're never mentioned. Like LA, California in general is never mentioned. Because when you think of wrestling cities, everyone says like New York,
Chicago.
Chicago,
Philly.
and Philly, but they don't mention like to me Memphis is a a big underrated wrestling city. Memphis, Atlanta, LA, Dallas. You know what I'm saying? These are
Yeah.
like the ones that are never mentioned, but those are like really, really hotbed wrestling cities.
Well, yeah, obviously when like you go to those places, they're gonna draw a crowd. But like Chicago and Philly are more hostile than maybe other crowds. Just the mentality of those cities. Like,
True, because Philly and Chicago are going to be more adults going to the show by LA.
true.
I'd say LA is more family city, like because you're getting LA and San Diego, and I'm pretty sure a lot of them are more family oriented. I mean, not to say that Chicago's not, but you
Yeah.
could definitely tell the demographic based on like how the crowd reacts.
I think if you maybe go to like yeah, San Diego or what is it called? The pond in Anaheim. Yeah, Anaheim.
Anaheim,
Yeah,
Anaheim.
you'll get more families, but I think you'll maybe get a little bit more adult oriented in Staples Center, Los Angeles. Maybe that's just me.
Maybe. I mean, I've been there a while. I haven't been there in a while. It's been a minute. So, I mean, NXT it was like definitely adult oriented, but Survivor Series was more family oriented. So,
Yeah, it's
so
just I guess
it could.
preference and whatever.
Yep.
Um, AEW All Out sells out in 15 minutes yesterday, with only two matches announced: Jericho versus Hangman and Omega versus Moxley. So are you gonna give Mitch his props here, or gonna wait next week to knock him out again?
I'll wait till next week to knock him out. I mean, no. Personally, it's impressive. I mean, anytime you can sell out in any venue, um, to me, ticket sales how because hell, WrestleMania they keep saying sells out. You know what I mean? So within that same day, so I think a lot of people. I think it's a mix of people really wanting to buy the tickets and people who buy the tickets just to sell them at a uberly exponential rate. Because when you look at on StubHub, they're looking at $130 for a ticket that's to me. I don't really look at like the ticket sales. Oh my god, tickets are well, me. I'm waiting on how the show goes. So
Yeah.
I'm more of a critic
You're saying more on the lines
show
of
like
wait and see, and they sold it out, but let's see how the show goes.
jerk and Omega.
So you're basically like saying you rate the show on how the show is and not by ticket sales.
Yeah, because ticket sales don't mean nothing. WrestleMania sells out, and they don't even have the card yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wait for how the show goes. And prime example was WrestleMania 30, because WrestleMania 30, a lot of people didn't know that place wasn't sold out until like they knew Daniel Bryan was getting, going to be like the coronation type deal. Yeah. So I don't really go off ticket sales. I look at how the show goes. Because I want to see how because that's going to be the final show before their TV deal, before they have to follow a TV schedule, before they have to be under TV executives, and so on and so forth. But even with all that, it's still impressive. I'm looking forward to it because I mean, it's not who variety is the spice of life. So for everyone who keeps saying I'm an AEW hater, I'm not. But I'm also a business aspect looking person when it comes to new companies. And it's easy to say, oh yeah, they're gonna kick their ass because they had two shows that were not heavily TV executive, heavily sponsor executive influence. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wait till the TV shows start coming and they have to follow a TV format and commercial breaks and sponsorships, TV executives and ratings and
that's what gets money.
FCC and all that. So that's where, to me, the rubber meets the road. I mean, it's great for them to have this pay-per-view nonetheless.
Because right now they could do whatever they want. Because they don't have anybody to answer to, except possibly Tony Khan. But
Exactly.
obviously when they get to their TV deal, they'll have to answer to them in some way because their TV show is on their channel.
Yeah, exactly. So they have to generate revenue from sponsorships. So we got to figure out what sponsors are coming for them and sponsor spots, TV executives on what they can and can't say. I don't know what their TV rating is yet. I'm assuming it's TV 14.
It's gonna have to be.
It's gonna have to be. So.
Hey, any show that Jimmy Havoc is on, that's MA.
It's gonna be an MA show running on TNT. I doubt it, but hey, you never know.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be interesting. And then I want to see. Well, and then I'm assuming that they're gonna. And we got to see how long they run because what they're trying to do, which I think is a positive. I think they're having an off season to allow people to recover, which I think that's something I think WWE could take because a lot of people get hurt. Yeah. Even if it's like a 2 to 3 week sabbatical, or you know what I mean, even like 2 to 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, a month, whatever, but give them that time for their body to recover and to get like out of the gig because that wrestling and traveling is a grind. It's a grind.
I kind of feel like people saying, "Oh, AEW, they're gonna have an off season. They're gonna give their guys this. They're gonna do this and that." But a lot of this stuff has kind of already been done in like New Japan. Like it's not like technically an off season, but like they did a month of shows, and now they took 2 to 3 weeks off until they do 2 more shows, just really to announce who's going to be in the G1.
G1, right. Yeah, that's what New Japan kind of does it that way, but I think with New Japan, the style that they wrestle, you have to have some time off. It's hellish, heavy, strong style, and it's hard hits, hard bumps. And I think with WWE, they're looking like, hey, you're not taking that many risks, so your body should be able to, adjust and get used to it. But even with that, injuries still happen, and that's where, eventually.
I think WWE gets more injuries because they're so choreographed. Because once you do like the same move like 1,000 times,
you get used to it.
More time to make it go wrong. I mean, Seth Rollins got injured on a sunset flip.
John Cena got injured on a hip toss. So I mean, it's injuries. Injuries can happen anywhere. But I think the fact that they have those like house show matches, it gives them the chemistry to be able to adjust when things happen. Because we saw what happened with with bloody AEW when all those people were meeting for the first time, especially in the women's match where a count went crazy, someone rang the bell too fast,
Yeah.
it seemed kind of botchy. So it can be both, pretty much. Like, yeah, you want to make it seem like it's the first time they did it, but you also want to be able to be have them adjust on certain things in case things don't work out.
Yeah. This last Monday Night Raw was void of any McMahons. Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn were at a business meeting. Triple H was getting ready for NXT, and Stephanie McMahon was just, we don't know where she went. So the whole show was kind of produced only by Shane McMahon. And with that, it was one of the lowest rated Raws in recent history.
Well, I mean, true, but it also shows that not everybody wants somebody to do something until they do it, and now they're like, "Oh no, please don't do it anymore." so it's crazy how that works, right? Because at one point people were wanting Shane to do something, and now it's like, "Nah, you good, you're fine, not no more, no mas." I mean, but it just shows. I mean, it tells you like what a strong influence Triple H has on that product, and it also tells you that as much as y'all shit on Vince, at least he has the decency to put on at least a semi decent show. I mean, Monday Night Raw, I think the highlights of the night were of course, Bray Wyatt, because that guy's just like awesome right now. He's hella hot, but other than that, I mean,
That was probably taped like a couple weeks ago. That probably wasn't shot live at either. So you can't
oh
really
yeah,
give
yeah,
Shane
yeah,
that
that
credit
thing's
for that.
taped.
Yeah.
That thing's taped, but I mean, we'll see how it goes. I mean, that tells you that Shane is not in the plans to run the business. But then again, everyone should have knew that because he took the hiatus, and it was left up to Stephanie and Hunter to actually kind of run the company. So if anybody knows that, everybody should know that by now. Just personal preference.
I can't really speak to how Shane did at producing the show because I didn't watch Raw this week.
I mean, I did. I do. I always watch it, just to like keep what's going on.
But I kind of feel like I could miss a week and not really miss anything, especially with the current storylines going on.
Yeah, it's like that now. To me, I think, me personally, Money in the Bank should have been a little bit later because Money in the Bank is always like the last pay, usually like the one or two last pay per views till SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And to me, it was always good for Money in the Bank to be that way, so that way, if you wanted to cash in, it could happen at your second biggest show.
Yes. You're right about that because Money in the Bank is such a big paid preview at this point. It's kind of number 5 of the big 4.
Pretty
You have
much.
you have momentum going into SummerSlam. But now you have this high of, oh, Money in the Bank. Brock Lesnar is Mr. Money in the Bank, and now you have this really low of a really bad card at Stomping Ground.
Exactly, and all you gotta do is look back to 2011 when they had Money in the Bank in June. When CM Punk won the title, they had a whole month to kind of like fall it out, and Punk Cena SummerSlam. So it shows you like the momentum carry is possible. I just didn't know me personally, I don't know what they were thinking with it, but I mean, maybe it's their preference.
It's hard to figure out what WWE thinks at this point.
I think, me personally, I think they're going, please get to SummerSlam. I really do, because that's their show. I think they're writing, and one thing I noticed, their writing and their storylines don't really get popping. Hey, buddy. Until they don't get popping until like the big four.
Yeah.
Like it always, like their writing and their storylines don't always don't pick up until like it hits Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series.
But shitting on all the paid previews from here to there is it really means nothing at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but
Shout out to son.
It's shout out. That's my boy. He always comes in at his own time. He's on his own schedule.
Yeah, he's the fourth member, unofficial member of Wrestling with Entertainment at this point.
I mean, he made more episodes than Mitch, but anyways, but
he's been in more episodes than you, Kaliko.
Probably.
Kaliko can't make it. Hey, Kaliko-san, can you maybe fill in for Kaliko?
I know, and he's like, let me pull out and see what I can do.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying, but to me, I think they kind of got stuck in that 1995 format when pay-per-views were every month, and ever since then, they just felt like, oh, let's just stick to it, rather than them going, hey, we're the monopoly, we can change that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because to me,
all I'm saying is, like, Money in the Bank wouldn't be the fifth largest paid preview in WWE if WWE didn't plan it that. It didn't give it really big matches and made it that way. You kind of understand?
I get it, but I mean, to me, but also in my opinion, Money in the Bank is its own thing anyway. So to me, in essence, Money in the Bank is Big Five. To me, it's one of the Big Five. So you could run it.
Hello.
He is coming to me with a puppet. There you go. Get you some food. Anyways.
Let's go now. Come on. Daddy, puppet.
Puppet.
Yeah.
I love my son. There you go. Fuck it. Leave it in.
Is that a Moshi the Buzzard puppet, Kaliko? You get him started on Firefly Funhouse?
It is a bird. I will say that. The puppet is definitely a bird.
I'm just saying, should we be worried?
Nah, because he still dances to like Shawn Michaels theme music, because that's his personal theme music for all them little cuties he be having crushes on at daycare. So I mean, he's his own man at this point. But anywho, back to what I was saying, which was, I mean, I get what you're saying with the Money in the Bank technically kind of making it the Big Five, and they wouldn't have it that way. But to me, out of every pay-per-view that they've changed and rechanged and renamed, like Great Balls of Fire, for every Money in the Bank, there's a Great Balls of Fire. You see what I'm saying? So it obviously shows that they're just throwing names against the wall until it sticks. Money in the Bank is one thing that sticks. Elimination Chamber is one thing that sticks. Extreme Rules is one thing that sticks. TLC is one thing that sticks. Everything else is just pretty much go for it. You see what I'm saying? So that's how I see how they run it. It needs to be a little bit better to get people more intrigued to want to even watch those pay-per-views.
I agree with you, because like you can't have like a pay-per-view headlined by a non-title match, Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns type thing.
Exactly, and that to me is just blatant blasphemous disrespect to think that people are just going to be like, oh yeah, we'll take this.
Yeah.
And that's just insults the intelligence of the fans. I mean, you want these pay-per-views to actually mean something. You actually want the consequences of these things to mean something.
If you're going to that show, you're paying more just for the simple fact that it's a WWE paid preview. When, in all honesty, you could pay a lot less, go to a live event, and get a better show.
Exactly. And the one thing that I do give those pay-per-views is that the wrestling seems to be better when they're not hindered by, oh, we got to take a commercial break to Snickers, for the 18th millionth time. Or, oh, yeah, we got to throw in this Sonic piece for the 18th millionth time. You can see and to me, the flow of the show is even better. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, if you had did that for like a 2 hour a pay-per-view, it's like a 2 hour Raw, just without less commercials and a better flow and more wrestling.
I guess you're right, but in another sense, the wrestling isn't that good to carry a paid preview at this point. Or at least the wrestlers aren't. I'm not going to say that they're not athletic, but they're not to a caliber to have a great match that keeps people interested in.
But they got to be given the time too. And it's hard to be given that time when they're also looking at the clock for, oh, yeah, this is commercial break. And I think it hurts more on the TV side than the live side with all those breaks because there's no continuation of action to keep people engaged in the action. At least with SmackDown, they had the picture-in-picture, which kind of like, hey, kind of gives you a hint of what's going on. But I think they should do that the reverse way, where they would have the commercial in the smaller picture, the wrestling in the bigger picture. So that way, you see what I'm saying? Like, just to like, even if they leave the sound, like put the sound on for the small commercials, it's only going to be like a minute or two. They could at least focus on the match.
I just find that funny because that's never going to happen. They're always going to put the sponsors before the wrestling.
I know, but little thing, but the whole reason that you're even getting that spot is because of the wrestling.
Yeah. Well, Stamping Grounds next week. I'm not sure if Scooter Dust will be dust busting that show. I'm not sure if we might be on that show. We're probably gonna need some Prozac for that, but we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, we'll see. To me, I think it's just because watch after this. I think it's Battleground and SummerSlam. So
yeah, it's gonna be a long 2 months to get to SummerSlam.
I think after this, I think that's when they're gonna try to pick it up. They're gonna try to pick it up and be like, "Oh my God, SummerSlam's coming! That's their second biggest show. They can't be going out like no suckers on their."
Well, this year for WrestleMania, it took them a while to get to the card. Like usually, right after the Rumble, they get ready to Rumble and they start, and we didn't get matches until like 2-3 weeks before Mania.
Yeah, because they threw in that the fast lane and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So they threw in 2 pay-per-views to try to get people to the point where it could have worked, and that worked with Daniel Bryan, like with the possible him filling in at 31, because they had that whole purpose of that was basically to get Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns a solid match to get Roman Reigns better, because think about it, after every pay-per-view it's usually just straight to WrestleMania. But they threw that in to throw the ambiguity that Daniel Bryan could possibly be back into the WWE title match.
Yeah.
And they just stuck with it ever since.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with WWE. Obviously, a lot of things going on, but it's time to get to our main event. We are wrestling with Dominion in Osaka-jo Hall. I really liked this card. I thought it was very entertaining, and it kept me hooked from beginning to end. Which, considering like what the first 3-4 matches was, is really saying something.
True, but that's always been New Japan's calling card. Like the one thing that they always do is, as much as they make the match seem like forever, they always like follow it with a really, really good solid match, and it makes you want to look forward to the next one. Being in California, it's a bitch trying to get up at 5:30 in the morning trying to watch that motherfucker. If you know, like that struggle is hella real. So, so, and you know what I'm talking about. But it's worth it though because it's hard hitting. It's really good storylines. There's a lot of things that changed. There's been a lot of moving parts lately. And it all is working towards something, and we're just like, I think it's the precipice because this was the last one before the G1, so they had to go out with a bang, and especially considering that the G1 is going to be in Dallas the first 2 nights, it's going to be interesting when they get that list out after this pay-per-view.
Oh, without a doubt. The first match on the card was Jon Moxley versus Shota Uno. The match lasted 3 minutes and 52 seconds, and Moxley won with a double arm DDT. I don't think a lot of people expected this to be like a drag out slobber knocker, but honestly, it was a solid opener considering these are a really odd pairing.
It is, but I also think I think that match, me personally, because if you look at the match and then you look at what Moxley did post match,
yeah,
what he did post match got the guy over more than the match.
Yeah, I agree. Shota Uno in 2-3 years, megastar. But right now, as Jon Moxley kind of taking him under his wing kind of sorta and being his little young lion buddy, I find that very entertaining. It's gonna be hopefully we'll get some fun segments out of that. But the biggest story out of this was after the match, Jon Moxley announced that he wants into the G1, which we kind of talked about last week.
And this is what I was telling you. To me, and that's what I was saying from the Jump Street, AEW's biggest free agent is wrestling with New Japan. You see what I'm saying? Like that to me, that screams that either AEW is okay with because if you're trying to be in a competition to be the number 2 wrestling company in the United States, the last thing you're going to do is let your biggest free agent wrestle in the biggest tournament while they're coming into the United States in Dallas. Just business 101, that wouldn't look good.
You're pretty right about that, and I think Moxley might actually miss an AEW show if he does enter the G1. The Fight for the Fallen in July.
Yeah, he would miss it. So that means because G1 takes precedence, baby. If you got a chance to try to be the man and in G1, you go for it. And who are we to say he won't?
I think it's just a matter of New Japan got to Moxley before AEW did. He signed with New Japan to do this, and then AEW came in and they said, "Do you want to be a part of our company as well?" And obviously, New Japan gives him that freedom to go where he wants to go.
That's true. I heard the rumblings about how this was set before he even left, so there could be some weight to that. But
I also look at him the United States Championship on his first night if he wasn't
Yeah, if
going
they
to be a
didn't,
big
if he
part
wasn't
of the
gonna exactly. So, but my question is because the G1 is what, a month and a half, 2 months.
No, it's a month,
So
but
it's about, but it's a month. But keep in mind the format is G1. No title shot, no title shots, right?
no title shot, no title matches.
So as much as we say, oh yeah, it's not a big deal, he's wrestling not only, let's say if he does do the G1, let's say he loses to 2 or 3 people, there's going to be 2 or 3 matches because I don't see Moxley losing to a lot of people in this match, in this tournament.
But then you run into the situation of like if he wrestles Okada and he loses to Okada, well, Okada's not going to want a United States Championship shot. So you kind of see,
That's true, but we got to see what block he's in because
yeah,
I don't see him. But then again, I don't see him beating Okada in the tournament. So that's one thing. I don't see Moxley beating Okada in the G1, even if that happens. But if they put him in a block with, let's say, a Zack Sabre Jr., a Tanahashi, a Naito, you see what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
those are cats I could see him beating some, but I don't see him beating Naito. I don't see him beating Naito. I don't see him beating Tanahashi. I don't see him beating Okada. Barely see him beating Zack Sabre. So
That's a bold statement there.
Because you got,
I would go
I mean,
the other way. I would say I see Moxley beating Naito and I see him beating Tanahashi. Not necessarily Okada just because he's Okada. And with Zack Sabre Jr., it's kind of a mix-up because, he's a little prima donna bitch.
To me, I don't see it. I don't see him losing to Japan's biggest stars. I don't. I can't see him. I don't see that. But
we'll see.
What we'll see, because we got to see how it locks up. I could see them being a Tama Tonga. I could see him barely beating Ishii, but I can't see him beating like New Japan's best.
Yeah. Well, we will definitely be covering a lot of that in July and August.
Oh yeah, that's like the most exhausting month ever. It's like regular season beats playoffs, and every match counts.
Yeah, that's why I'm taking like a wrestling cleanse at this point, just to get ready for that. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm not, but
yeah,
I can handle it. If I can handle 6 days of WrestleMania week, I can handle it.
The second match of the night was Satoshi Kojima versus Shingo Takagi. The match lasted 11 minutes and 14 seconds, and Shingo won with Last of the Dragon. I think the big news out of this match was that Shingo kind of threw his hat in the ring as well, wanting to be in the G1.
I mean, his record speaks for it. I mean, he's 90. He's only lost 1 match. But fun fact, he's only lost 1 match since he's been in New Japan. Yeah, so that tells you that he's gonna probably be in the G1 to replace a couple of retired guys, and he's going to be a force. So it's going to be very interesting if he gets into the G1 and what block he's in, because I think any block that guy's in, he could be a potential dark horse.
It's I kind of go on the idea of it was awesome that he ran his block and got 9 wins and dominated. Wouldn't it be awesome if he entered the G1 the same year and got 9 wins again? I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but that would just be really cool in my mind.
It would be, but once again, that's at least 2 hats you'll see in the ring. I mean, you got that's at least 2 of what? Possibly 18 spots that are going to get filled for the G1 if Moxley comes. So you got Moxley, you got Tagachi, you got Okada for sure, you got Naito for sure, you got Tanahashi for sure. I would assume Juice Robinson would have to be in it.
Jay White.
Jay White. You see what I'm saying? It's just good. This might be, even with Omega gone, this could be their most stacked damn G1 ever.
And hey, Omega still might show up.
Everybody keeps saying that. I don't see him try to wrestle every day for a buff boy. He's like, I get enough money from the grind. I'm not trying to grind anymore.
The next match on the card, Yoshihashi and Gibson Dundalacor defeated Zack Sabre Jr. and Minoru Suzuki in 9 minutes and 39 seconds. The crazy part of this was Yoshihashi actually got the pin on Zack Sabre Jr., which, just looking at this match, my just thoughts would have been it go the opposite way. Zack beats Yoshihashi because Yoshi is a glorified jobber at this point.
True. Zack Sabre Jr. is a winner of the Cup. So, I mean, a former winner of the New Japan Cup. So, I mean, it just, I guess they're just showing the unpredictability. Either that or they're trying to give Zack Sabre Jr. something to do with Moxley being there and with their biggest stars being there. So, I mean, because those are two names I'm gonna see in the G1. Yeah. I mean, Jesus, Yoshihashi's in it like every damn year.
Yoshihashi was like lifeless during this match to the point where Thunderliker came into the ring and slapped him and said, "Snap out of it and tag me in."
Yeah.
So just more unmotivation from. I mean, New Japan tries and gives him the benefit of the doubt time and time again, and he always proves the people right and the company wrong.
I mean, maybe he just needs a little break because that dude's been one of the more durable cats in New Japan, if I'm not mistaken. He rarely misses a lot, so. You know, maybe he just needs a little time off.
It's about personality, and he has none.
I mean, he kind of looks like a mixture of like Zelda and Mario, but I mean, to me,
is that really the look you want to go for?
I mean, his interests, like he comes in with this little staff or whatever, but it could be the personality, but it also could be like he's been there for a while, and to see everybody like jump ahead of his ass, I'd be kind of that way too.
Sure, but it either lights a fire up your ass, or you just sit in place and say yeah, sure. And that's where he's at right now.
And I think he's doing the latter because he's like, shit, I get a check from New Japan, don't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, that may not be the case, but it just assumes to be the case. And, all I can do is go off what I'm reading.
Yeah. Fourth match on the card, Ryusuke Taguchi, Juice Robinson, and Hiroshi Tanahashi defeated Taiji Ishimori, Chase Owens, and Jay White in 9 minutes and 48 seconds. Tanahashi pinned Chase Owens with a modified sling blade. I mean, it's kind of noticeable that Tanahashi is nowhere near 100% at this point.
True, but once again, he's the John Cena of bloody New Japan, so he's gonna keep going. It's that Warriors mentality. If he's not like, if the leg's not damn near dangling off, he's gonna keep going.
The leg, Kaliko, both his arms Well,
his
like he
leg,
has
his
one
arm.
good appendage at this point.
I know, but I'm just using that as a metaphor.
Yeah.
Like if the limb is not damn near coming off, he's gonna keep wrestling.
Yeah.
Up until that point, and even after that, he might still wrestle.
Probably.
What was funny to me about this was Juice changing his, because remember, every time we keep saying, every time a person loses a title in New Japan, they just change their whole fucking personality. They're like, oh, this didn't work. Let's change the whole fucking thing and start it from scratch, right? So Juice has been doing that. So I don't know what's going to happen with that, because if that was me, if it was me thinking, I'm thinking Juice is going to try to come back to get his title from fucking Moxley.
Yeah, but that could be down the line where he's not doing something right now. How? And he has to fill that time like Okada did with his whole maniac balloon persona.
Oh my god, the maniac balloon! Gosh, I was like, what the hell, Okada? You went from making it rain to making it float. Come on, man.
And but you know, maybe some Juice Robinson character tweaks isn't a bad thing at this point.
Yeah, I mean, a character tweak won't. I mean, he has to like. To me, I always see that, because if you looked at Omega, even Omega had to do some kind of tweaking to reach from within. So it always. I mean, that's a New Japan like staple. Like, you know, something happens, your world is ruined, and you have to really dig deep to become a new person, but a better version of your old person. So I mean, that's the New Japan staple story. I just think it's good. To me, it's happening to Juice. I don't know what's going to happen, because he's going to be in the G1. We know Tanahashi might be in the G1. We know Jay White is going to. Tanahashi's going to be there until he catches a heart attack and dies. Jay White's going to be in the G1 for sure. See, and that's what we need to do. Next week, I think we should do a guess of who's going to be in this G1.
Next week they might already announce everybody. So we'll just have Brockology ready to go.
Hey, you never know, man. I mean, yeah, G1 after next week, it'll be, yeah, they're going to have to do it soon. But I'm going to have to write a list, and I'll probably tweet it out, my assumptions of who's going to be in this G1.
Okay. Well, look out for that on Kaliko's Twitter account at I am Kaliko.
Yep.
Fifth match on the card, the 25th Never Openweight champion, Taichi, in his first defense, takes on Tomohiro Ishii. The match lasted 11 minutes and 16 seconds, and Ishii won with a vertical drop brainbuster. I mean, nobody didn't see Ishii winning this match. I mean, there was no contest.
It was, but to me, the stat of the day, the New Japan Never Open Weight Championship has changed hands 9 times in the last 12 months.
That's an interesting stat. It just shows you what New Japan thinks of that belt.
Exactly. So no one's really ever there to define a reign for that. To me, I mean, I could be wrong, but Ishii's had like one of the longest reigns with the belt. It should be called the Ishii Championship at this point. But I think it's just a belt. To me, Ishii, he should be a IWGP champion, but they're not going to pull the trigger and make him an IWGP champion. So it's just something, to like keep him busy. Because he solid matches. He's a great guy.
Yeah, if you have like an Ishii or even a Goto as Never Openweight champion, you'll at least get a good match out of whoever they fight.
Right. And it's going to be a
Because,
hard hitting fight.
Ishii's reign last time, like in 2014, I think it was his matches with Makabe and Homer were some of the best matches I've ever seen.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's just something for him to elevate the belt, kind of keep him elevate the belt. To me, that title on him is pretty much a workhorse title.
Yeah.
That's just to me, because I've never seen I've seen that okay Ishii match, but I've never seen a bad Ishii match.
Well, against Taichi, you come really close to a bad match.
Hey, but that's not his fault.
No,
they should have put the belt on Taichi. Shit.
Exactly.
Like, that's not his fault. Shit.
Hopefully he'll hold it for at least one defense.
I mean, considering that Taichi lost it in his first defense. So you see the pattern here. And this is the same. And you know what's funny? People don't remember that stat, that 9 times in 12 months thing, and they'll sit there and bullshit WWE's 24/7 title. When to me, they're the same fucking thing.
Should they just slap Neville on the 24/7 championship?
They might as well. Hell, why not?
Yeah.
They're gonna have like 38,000 title reigns in this bitch.
Of course. Sixth match on the card. The 83rd champions, God, in their third defense, took on Sonata and Evil. The match lasted 16 minutes and 38 seconds, and Tama Tonga rolled up Evil for the win. I mean, this kind of felt more like just a filler match, because God really doesn't have any challengers at this point. Maybe just the Briscoes are the only ones slated at this point.
Yeah, I mean that plus the way Sonata looked in the World Cup kind of like tells me that. I mean, as soon as this match was given, I kind of figured God was going to win, because Sonata looked so fucking good in the World Cup as a singles competitor. And he was this close to winning the damn thing. Yeah. So to me, he's a better guy on a singles run than anything. To me, they don't have a really built tag team division for God, unless like Jesus, and I'm throwing up in my mouth as I say this. Unless Roppongi 3K moves up.
Not a 3K fan, Kaliko?
I mean, I liked Roppongi Vice. The 3K thing, but to me, they're gonna have those belts for a long fucking time, because I don't see a tag team that could beat them. The Bucks are gone. They just beat Evil and Sonata in a rematch. They're out there calling the Briscoes and the Usos. So that tells you that they don't see like no one else on their damn level.
Yeah,
like
no
they're Briscoes, Usos, Revival. They're just putting out a fucking Christmas wish list for tag team matches. Like,
yeah.
What else are we supposed to do with that?
I always felt Sonata and Evil, they're 2 big single stars, and they only put them in the tag team to give them a match because they're not ready to give them that singles title run. I mean, there's 15 IWGP titles. Can't you give one of them to one of these guys? You know what I mean?
True. And then it seemed like, well, it's been like that ever since they threw them in that tag team tournament. Remember?
Yeah.
Like that. To me, it was like that, like 2 years ago when they threw them in a tag team tournament, and then they ended up winning the whole damn thing and winning the title.
And if you just think about it, a month before that, Evil was wrestling Okada for the IWGP Championship.
Yeah, and Sonata was fucking in the G1 wrestling Okada for the right for the World Cup. So to me, that they both can go. It's just a matter of everyone keeps saying like, "Oh my God!" Like this just shows you that there's only room for so many people at the top, right?
Yeah.
Because you're seeing like Evil, Sonata, Ishii, Tanahashi, Jay White, Chase Owens, even all these people who could bubble up and be like that top tier main event to give like a big plethora of mix for the main event. So I even throw a Bad Luck Ballet in there. All these people that are like right there, but they just don't want to like put them in that upper echelon.
Yeah.
And that's just like the frustrating part. Like,
Do you think
Sonata easily could be IWGP Heavyweight Champion. He easily could be.
Do you think because they're under that LIJ banner and Naito is kind of sort of the leader that kind of holds them down a bit?
I'll say factions in New Japan is a blessing and a curse. And the reason I say that is it's a blessing because you have members and all those members fulfill certain divisions. So you know where their role is. But the curse in that is if you got people who are too good for that fucking division and that they need to move up, they're not going to move up.
Yeah.
Because Sonata could be an IWGP Intercontinental Champion. Evil could be an IWGP Heavyweight champion. But they're not going to do it because Naito's the top star and he's going to be the guy that is in those two championship brackets, which kind of hinders Evil and Sonata because those two are really, really good guys, but they're not going to let them branch out like that because you got Bushi and Takahashi. They're all the junior division because you always have like the junior, the mid levels, and then the heavyweight.
Yeah.
Naito's the heavyweight. Bushi and Takahashi are the juniors. They're pretty much the fillers. So to me, what's the difference between Sonata winning a never open, Evil winning a U.S. championship? Like, though, it blows my mind how that works.
Absolutely. The next match on the card, 7th match, the 84 champion Dragon Lee in his second defense took on Will Ospreay, Best of the Super Juniors winner. The match lasted 20 minutes and 7 seconds, and Will Ospreay won with the Stormbreaker. Kind of shocked that Will Ospreay won. Even more shocked that Ospreay kind of wants to be in the G1, even though he's now junior champion.
A junior. Exactly.
Like he wants like the best of everything. I think he's being a little too greedy here.
He's the wrestling buffet. He's like, I want the be the best of the Super Juniors, but I don't want to deal with all these heavyweights. But I do want to be in that G1, which gives you unlimited exposure as a singles competitor. But then again, if they hadn't put the never open weight on them, see what I'm saying? This is another one of those things. What I was saying in the beginning, like Will Ospreay, is he a junior? Is he a fucking never open? Is he? You see what I'm saying? Like it just that part could be confusing to people who never watched New Japan.
Yeah.
That's just my thought on that.
I mean, it's like Shingo Takagi. He went from junior to heavyweight. One might say he was a heavyweight to begin with. Will Ospreay is now literally the junior heavyweight champion, and he wants to play with the heavyweights. But just be a junior heavyweight and try and build up that division rather than trying to have the best of both worlds. That's just how I feel about it.
I think that's what they're trying to do because he's a name that could carry it. That could carry that division, anyways.
Yeah.
Because they don't really have a lot of juniors that are like, and And it gives, I guess, because Styles make fights and he's a high flying guy, and he's going to be the human 205 live every match. So, I mean, it's good for him in that regard. But as far as like what they're doing with him, as far as like, is he going to go up a weight class? Is he going to stay in this weight class? I could definitely see that being confusing.
Yeah. The 8th match on the card, the 21st Intercontinental Champion Kota Ibushi and his second defense wrestled Tetsuya Naito in 22 minutes and 6 seconds, and Naito beat him with Destino. Good match. This was definitely a Naito match. It kind of feels every time Naito wrestles for a belt, he turns it on, he's ready to go, but when he gets the belt, he kind of becomes complacent.
But I think that's the persona of Naito with the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. Because to him, being the heavyweight champion is it. And the fact that they threw him in this match, to me, his character seems it is disrespectful. Honestly, I think his best run was when he got it and he was just kicking the damn thing and throwing the belt, and he was trying to sell it on like eBay and pawn the damn thing. Like, it just tells you like how he feels that belt is beneath him. And at this point it is, because Naito's he's up there with his name, and you could tell by how the crowd was like all over him. Like, that dude is probably the most popular wrestler in Japan, like over Okada, even though Okada's the champ. And that guy made LIJ a fucking thing. Like,
without a doubt. But one might say that the Intercontinental Championship was below Nakamura. But Nakamura took that belt and tried to elevate it to greater heights. And now that secondary position of the Nakamura belt, the Intercontinental, kind of went to Naito now. That's his belt.
Yeah, but he does it in the inverse, to where, depending if he does it this time with the run. The fact, when he did it the first time, he made it to where whoever won that belt, it meant something. You see what I'm saying? When Tanahashi beat him for the belt, it meant something, because then they came out with the all-new belt. He broke the damn thing. He threw it against the stairs. He was kicking the damn thing. He was throwing the belt in the air, and everybody's like, holy shit, you disrespectful son of a bitch. But then again, he was still over with the crowd, so it really didn't matter. And that's why I say, like, to me, he doesn't need the belt to be over, because he's already over. That's just me. But then again, when he damn near broke Ibushi's neck, that was like a scare. I'm surprised. I think he broke something, but that's just me from what it looks. If he didn't, that's a hell of a fucking persistence, or either luck in physics. But the match was really good. The crowd was really into it, because
Kota has narrowly avoided injury a couple times this year.
Oh yeah, and this is why they take those 3 weeks off after the show. This is the main reason they take 8 to 10 weeks off after the show. Like, fuck this, I'm going home. Like, this hurts. Like, that hurt. That hurt me watching it.
Definitely my favorite part of the match was after the match, not knowing if like Kota Ibushi's neck was broken or not. Naito, he just stepped on his face and posed with the belt. Like, that's good old fashioned Naito.
Oh yeah,
I ate that shit up. I love
it. I think, and I know this is good. People go like say whatever, but to me, he's like the Stone Cold Steve Austin of New Japan.
Oh, but not that.
Like, not giving a fuck, except he could take it a lot further and dirtier than what Stone Cold could do in America.
Because he doesn't have as many restrictions.
Yeah, that's true too.
Alright, and it's time to talk about the night match, the main event of the evening. The 69th IWGP champion, Kazuchika Okada, in his second defense, defeated challenger Chris Jericho in 25 minutes and 43 seconds with a roll-up.
Yeah, the roll up part was but that tells me either Jericho's gonna get a rematch, maybe, or they just didn't want Jericho to look so weak. Because when you think about it, Jericho's only won one match in New Japan since he's been back.
No,
That I can think of. I mean that I could think of because he beat Naito for the Intercontinental,
and then Evil.
Okay, he beat Evil, so that's 2.
And yeah.
Lost to Omega.
Lost to Naito.
Lost to Naito. Lost to Okada. I mean, it's still. I mean, losing to those people it's nothing to balk at. But
no, absolutely not.
It just. But eventually, I mean, his credibility's still there. So I guess it doesn't matter what he does.
He could lose to Yoshihashi at this point, and it would hurt his career.
I don't know about that one.
Kaliko, if his career is still intact, losing to Fandango at WrestleMania, then he could live with anything.
Hey, they dropped the ball on Fandango. But anyways, that's a whole nother topic of conversation.
The big thing that came out of this was that obviously Jericho attacked Okada. It was pretty brutal. Yep. Tanahashi saved him. And then Chris Jericho went on a rant about maybe possibly being in the G1.
I mean, between that and him kind of trying to they were probably I think it's going to be more Jericho Tanahashi than him being in the G1. I don't see Jericho being in the G1. I see Moxley being in the G1, but I don't see Jericho being.
It could just be Jericho talking out of his ass as usual.
That's true.
But the prospect of him actually being in the G1 is intriguing.
It is. However, I don't see it, and I'm writing this list down as I'm speaking. Juice, White, Naito, Tanahashi, Okada. I'm assuming Sonata or Evil, a Tama Tonga, a Bad Luck Fale. Like, it's a lot of people to put in that damn tournament. So,
but if you think about who they could replace, who was in last year, you have Makabe, Yoshihashi, Hangman Page, Omega. So, like, right away, there's 4 spots.
Yeah, but I'm thinking those 4 spots are going to go to Moxley.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Moxley, maybe Kenta, maybe.
Yeah, we forgot to talk about Kenta.
See, Kenta came back. So Kenta's back there. So Kenta, Tagachi. You see what I'm saying? So if you look at Kenta, Moxley, Tagachi, you really only got 1 spot.
And it's probably just gonna be a hotspots guy, a jobber guy.
It could be, unless Ospreay.
Yeah, that's
Ospreay. True. See, so it's a gang of motherfuckers coming into it. That list is very extensive on who could be in it. I think this could be the most interesting G1 because we don't even know who the hell is going to be in it, but we have at least 20 to 30 names that we could think of that could be in that tournament.
Yeah, and I'm checking the calendar, and next week, they're announcing the G1 participants on the 26th, which is a Wednesday. well, our next show will be on the 22nd. So we will definitely define your list, get your Blackology ready, because this is basically our fantasy football at this point.
In essence, yeah.
Yeah, this is wrestling fantasy football.
This is like New Japan run a gang of damn tournaments, but this is the one that matters the most. Between the best of the Super Juniors, the Super Junior tag teams, the tag team classic, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of goddamn tournaments, but this is like the
one that
playoffs,
matters the most.
The one that matters more than anything.
Yeah.
Winner, and for those who haven't watched New Japan, the G1 is basically a tournament over the month where the winner gets a guaranteed title shot at Wrestle Kingdom, which is New Japan's WrestleMania. And if you haven't seen a Wrestle Kingdom, I highly encourage you to watch.
What the fuck are you doing?
The last 3 Wrestle Kingdoms, which have been off the goddamn chain after Jay cusses you out, as in how the hell you've been under a rock. But there you go.
Yep. It's I thought like last year was the biggest G1, and it was just that G1 was destined to be the greatest G1 for the simple fact that it was seen by a lot more people than any other G1 ever. And I think this might rival that. This might trump it. And that's a crazy thing to say, even considering that there might be no Kenny Omega.
It could be that way, especially if Moxley is in the tournament. And I cannot see him not being in the tournament.
Just being United States Championship gives him a bye to be in the tournament.
He's puts him in the tournament. But it's even bigger because New Japan is doing the first 2 nights in Dallas.
Yeah.
So for those people who keep saying that the G1 wasn't going to sell out, if he's in that motherfucker, it's going to sell out because he's going to bring eyeballs. And that's just how that's going to go. Everybody was worried about the ticket sales for the G1. The G1 really isn't worried about it until the brackets announced and who's going to be on what block. Because I remember last year when they had that, it was like Naito and Ibushi night 1, and we're like, what the fuck? Yo, that's a finals match right there. And that was the first night of the tournament. And you're like, holy shit. So
it's going to be
anything
an interesting time.
It is. It's going to be a very, very interesting time.
Yeah.
And considering only one Gaijin has won the G1, it's definitely going to be funny how it works. How they're who's gonna win it. It's definitely going to be very, very interesting on who's going to win it. And think about it, because think about this. Last year, you had Toki Makabe, Yoshihashi, Hangman Page, Bad Luck Fale, Michael Elgin, Evil, Tanahashi, Suzuki, Jay White, Okada, Ishii, Yano, Tamatonga, Juice Robinson, Godo, Sonata, Ibushi, Zack Sabre, Omega. Like, that, those are fucking names.
Yeah.
So
you could make a case for Yoshihashi and maybe Michael Elgin, but yeah, you're right.
Like,
It was a stacked G1.
Yeah, and we're saying this year is going to be more stacked than that, and that's with Omega, Tanahashi, Okada. You see what I'm saying?
I get it.
Ibushi, it's fucking crazy. Like,
it's gonna be these next 2 months in wrestling is gonna be a whirlwind with we got 1 AEW show in July, In August, we have G1 Finals,
SummerSlam,
SummerSlam, and All Out. So,
out,
yeah,
and NXT Takeover because they're trying to do a UK Takeover in Europe
that's
the
right.
same.
Yeah,
So it's gonna be a goddamn. Yeah,
yeah.
you might be taking that sabbatical. It's gonna be a wrestling goddamn baptism. It's gonna be a wrestling baptism.
Yeah,
But then
because-
again, there's no sports in America, so I mean, unless you like baseball. But
Nope.
everything else is, I mean, what else you got to watch? It's gonna be a lot of wrestling. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
yeah, that's why I'm taking that break now. The detox, get myself off of it until I just put myself with it until I'm ready to drop again.
Oh, jeez. I think I think I've been going strong. Like a week in New York City, WrestleMania week, I'm like, I can do anything. I guess that's right. If I can make it there, I can make it anywhere. so yeah, but it's gonna be the funnest time because this G1, man, every match counts, and it's just gonna be so awesome. And you don't want to be on the wrong foot.
It's exciting time to be a wrestling fan.
It is. You got fucking options. We haven't even jumped on like ROH because they got their little thing in the summer. I think it's like Best in the World. Best of the
Yeah,
World.
that's
Jeff
coming
Cobb
up on the-
versus
Matt Taven. And
yeah, Matt Taven versus Jeff Cobb, which is a potential show stealer.
definitely, that comes
So,
on the 28th
I mean,
of June. So we'll definitely be covering that as well. Huh. Lots of
yeah. So I mean,
just lots and lots of things to cover.
it's a lot of. It's a lot to cover, but we'll keep y'all in the loop, man. I know it's like
Yeah.
24 hours, and we got like 80 hours of wrestling to watch. You're like,
And we're
damn
doing
it.
it for you, our viewers.
doing it for the viewers, and
Yeah.
plus we like it. So hey, it's a win-win.
Definitely. And that should do it for this show. If you like the show, please like, subscribe, comment. Happy Father's Day for all our father listeners. Happy Father's Day to you, Kaliko.
I know, man. I mean, dads don't get a lot of love, and before I go, final stat: Father's Day is the 20th most celebrated holiday in America.
Yeah,
That
we had
Halloween and Columbus Day is celebrated more than Father's Day. Bullshit. And I'm calling bullshit. Fathers matter, damn it. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, you have a strong opinion about this, I could see.
Of course. Being a father, I see how important it is.
Yeah, I'm not a father, but I've been called a mother.
I think we've all been called mothers.
Yeah.
Especially if you run into Samuel Jackson. You'll definitely be called a mother.
Oh, definitely. Give out your Twitter for all our great viewers.
Twitter's going to be I am Kaliko, and I am going to be putting my guess on who's going to be in this G1 because we only got, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 20 spots. So 20 spots for the G1. I'm going to try to guess every spot.
All right.
So,
and at the end of that incredibly long tweet, have the name of the show at the bottom. Wrestling with Entertainment.
Wrestling with Entertainment. Yep.
Yeah. Every
And you know what's
Saturday.
funny? Toro Yano was in last year's G1. I
Toro
totally
wasn't
forgot.
off the
See,
G1s.
but that's my point. See what I'm saying? Like to be in this tournament now, it's gonna mean a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
Elgin's gone, Makabe's gone, Omega's gone. So we'll see how it goes.
Hopefully we'll have Mitch Mayhem will be unknocked out next week, recovering from his injury. But
Yeah,
you could,
came to beat him down.
yeah. You could send your love or hate to Mitch Mayhem at Mitch Mayhem X on Twitter. And that will do it for this week's edition. I am James J. As always, my co-host Kiriko Yachts. This has been Wrestling with
Hold on, see,
Entertainment.